Hate my life.
Jupiter Jones talks about her parents. Her father taught astrophysics at St. Petersburg University, and her mother taught applied mathematics. They first met on the banks of the Neva River. The father's name was Maximilian Jones. He was the son of an English diplomat and saw only good in all people. When Alexa became pregnant, Maximilian decided they would name their daughter Jupiter. Of course, Alexa did not like this idea. Suddenly robbers burst into the house. One of them shot and took Maximilian's life in front of his pregnant wife. Soon Alexa gave birth to the daughter on a ship in the middle of the Atlantic. The baby was born under the constellation of Leo. Nino, the girl's aunt, considered this a sign from above. In her opinion, Jupiter was destined for a great fate. Many years passed. Jupiter and her mother live in Chicago. Jupiter makes a living by cleaning toilets. She has no doubt that astrology is complete nonsense. Next, we see a futuristic city on a certain planet. Titus Abrasax, the third heir to the kingdom, tells his sister Kalik, the second heir, that he does not consider the harvest a humane practice. Balaam Abrasax, the first heir, appears. He believes that most civilizations inhabiting the worlds they destroyed were unworthy of living. The Abrasax family is the most powerful of dynasties. After their mother's demise, her children argue over inheritance and title. Balaam inherited a reprocessing plant on Jupiter, while Titus spends all his fortune on a spaceship. Alexa woke up very early and woke up her daughter. Jupiter hates her life, because she wanted something completely different. Meanwhile, retired Legionnaire Kane Wise arrives on Earth. He is not the only one who has landed on this planet. The hunters do not like that Kane makes an attempt on their prey. The Legionnaire, who can track anyone by a single gene alone, takes the trail of his prey. He knew the hunters were waiting for him. A shootout ensued between them. Kane managed to escape. The hunters think they should warn their employer about this. Learning of what had happened, Lady Kalik orders her protege to take control of the situation. Soon Lord Balaam arrived at Jupiter. Inside the Great Red Spot is the huge reprocessing plant. Balaam was informed that the genetic code had been recognized. Their prey is named Catherine Dunleavy. Balaam ordered her to be found and destroyed as quickly as possible. Meanwhile on Earth, Catherine, Jupiter's friend, is choosing a dress for her date with her wealthy boyfriend. As Jupiter goes to the closet, there is a scream. At that moment, shocked Jupiter saw humanoid beings, which were initially transparent, pick up unconscious Catherine. Jupiter wanted to take a picture of this, but the aliens noticed her and attacked. The next moment, Catherine woke up on the floor. Neither she nor Jupiter remembers anything about what happened. Jupiter wants to buy a telescope in memory of her father, but she can't afford it yet. To make money, she decides to sell her eggs and goes to the clinic, using the name Catherine Dunleavy. The girl is nervous before the procedure. Suddenly she sees a strange picture of aliens on her phone. During the procedure, something starts to go wrong. Jupiter is horrified to realize that in front of her are not doctors, but those same ominous humanoid beings. The Balaam's messengers were about to take her life, but Kane interfered, engaging in a battle with the aliens. Jupiter doesn't understand what's going on. The Legionnaire took the girl in his arms, and at that moment she lost consciousness. Meanwhile, Lord Titus is having fun on his expensive ship. He was informed of good news. Kane Wise found the girl. Jupiter wakes up among incomprehensible technology. A futuristic gun lay nearby, and Jupiter takes it. Kane urged her to be calm, explaining that humans are not the only intelligent civilization in the universe. It turns out that Kane is a genetically modified super soldier created specifically for war. His DNA was spliced with that of a wolf. Jupiter can't believe that all of this is actually happening. At that time, Balaam was informed that the former Legionnaire had taken the prey. The Lord ordered the destruction of any ship that approached Earth. Kane introduces Jupiter to future technologies. They are still in Chicago. Suddenly Kane picks up the girl in his arms, and passing through the glass, flies with her straight into the sky. His boots work on the principle of anti-gravity. At that moment, Kane's ship was exploded and crashed right into a skyscraper. A chase ensued, accompanied by shots and explosions. Kane and Jupiter remained unharmed, thanks to an energy shield. Kane managed to capture one of the keeper's ships, but the enemy was still on his tail. Kane had to fly all over Chicago, dodging shots. However, their ship still suffered damage. Kane and Jupiter managed to evacuate before the spacecraft crashed. Later, Alex was surprised to discover that all the destroyed buildings in the city had been restored. Kane said that all witnesses' memories had been erased. He also told Jupiter that Balaam Abrasax, the eldest of the heirs of the most powerful dynasty, was hunting her. Jupiter does not understand why anyone would want this, since she is an ordinary girl. Meanwhile, Balaam looked at a holographic image of Jupiter, saying that there were moments when he missed her. No one ever understood him like she did. Balaam made it clear to his subordinates that the second mistake was unacceptable. They must find Jupiter at any cost. Jupiter thanked Kane for his help. They arrived at an old house in the middle of nowhere, where Kane's former co-worker, Stinger Apini, lived. The man immediately lashed out at his former friend. It was his fault that Stinger's career had once been ruined. While the men were figuring things out, Stinger's daughter met Jupiter. Suddenly Jupiter realized that the bees obeyed her. Stinger kneeled before her, calling the girl Her Majesty. Later, she learned that Kane and Stinger had wings before, but it were cut off after the tribunal. Jupiter did not understand why Stinger called her Your Majesty. Stinger explained that bees always sense royal blood. Kane offered Stinger cooperation, promising that in return Lord Titus would return his wings. Besides, by all appearances, Jupiter is the great recursion that everyone is looking for. Since Balaam organized a blockade, they could not leave the planet without a fight. While Kane went for weapons, Stinger told Jupiter the story of the wolf with no pack. He was born half albino, the weakest in the litter, and was sold to the Legion. Kane was the best soldier, but he was court-martialed for assaulting a titled person. Stinger took all the blame to save his friend. Now Kane hates the royal family. Later, Stinger told that humanity did not actually originate on Earth. During the Great Expansion, superhumans spread life across thousands of planets. When a planet's population becomes large enough, it's time for the harvest. The keepers attacked the home, and another shootout ensued. Jupiter tried to escape through a cornfield, but enemies surrounded her. Suddenly the hunters attacked the keepers to take their prey. Seeing this, Kane rushed to help the girl and managed to grab onto the ship, which immediately left Earth. Balaam asked his protege if everything was ready for the harvest. The Lord intends to do it tomorrow, before Jupiter can try to stop him again. The hunters arrived on the planet, unaware that Kane was here too. Aliens from across the universe come here to buy the serum of eternal youth. Jupiter woke up in luxurious chambers wearing a beautiful dress. The artificial intelligence informed her that she was in the house of Kalik, the second heir of the Abrasax dynasty. The mistress of the house entered the chambers and led her guest to the tomb of her mother, which was an exact copy of Jupiter. Kalik explained that Jupiter was the reincarnation of her mother, their genetic code was identical. This is called recursion. Jupiter was shocked to learn that Kalik was over 14,000 years old. It turned out that the queen, the mother of 3 heirs, was attacked, but the culprit was never found. While Kane searched for Jupiter, Kalik demonstrated the capabilities of the serum of eternal youth to her. In front of shocked Jupiter, Kalik became young again. The lady explained that the genes of any living creature have an expiration date, but this can be fixed. For this they grow entire civilizations on different planets to later use their genes. Earth is also part of this vast industry. Kane battled the guards while Kalik told Jupiter that she intends to claim the title. Currently, Earth belongs to Balaam, the first heir, but Kalik wants to take the planet away from him. Seeing Jupiter, Kane rushed to her. Kalik assured that she was not their enemy, or else she would not have helped Jupiter leave Earth. Jupiter was introduced to Captain Dyamakot Singh of the cruiser. Jupiter was thrilled to learn that Stinger was alive. The captain vowed to do everything for Her Majesty's safety. Balaam punishes his subordinate for failing the mission. He needs to find Jupiter at all costs. Meanwhile, Jupiter, who changed into comfortable clothing, asked Kane if it was true that he had attacked a titled person a long time ago. Kane said he did not know why he did it. Jupiter confessed her feelings to Kane, but he said that nothing could happen between them because she is from the royal family. The cruiser arrived in the capital. An intergalactic lawyer will help Jupiter reclaim her rightful throne. It turned out that bureaucratic delays are not only happening on Earth, but are a widespread phenomenon. When all the formalities were settled, Jupiter received her identification mark and further instructions. Jupiter knows that Kane hates the royal family, but she assured him that nothing has changed. However, Kane did not hurry to trust her. Suddenly they were surrounded by armed soldiers under Stinger's command. Kane realized that the friend had betrayed him. Jupiter was brought to Lord Titus. He welcomed Her Majesty and promised that she would be safe here. Kane was sent to a prison cell, while Jupiter was brought to dinner with Titus. The Lord vowed to the woman who is the reincarnation of his mother that he would do everything for her well-being. Jupiter intended to discuss Kane's release. The super soldier tried to escape from the cell but in vain. Meanwhile, Titus told Jupiter that he had a very close relationship with his mother. He also advised her not to trust Kalik, who is competing with Balaam for Earth. After that, Titus showed Jupiter the serum of eternal youth and explained that it is made from living beings. 1 bottle requires 100 humans. Jupiter realized with horror that Earth is a farm like thousands of other planets. It turned out that the Queen wanted to put an end to this business, for which she paid with her life. Now Titus intends to finish what his mother started. Jupiter did not expect that Titus would ask her to be his wife. Stinger was also arrested, and Kane was brought to Titus, who hired him to find Jupiter. However, Titus did not tell the hunter about his true intentions and played a dishonest game. Now he wants to marry Jupiter to obtain the title of heir. After that, Titus will be able to get rid of his wife without any problems. Kane was thrown into open space. The super soldier found himself in a vacuum, but he managed to free himself from the handcuffs and activated his protective suit. Meanwhile, Jupiter's family went crazy with worry. Suddenly the furniture in the house shook, a bright light came on. Balaam's subordinates appeared, who came to kidnap the Queen's family. While in space, Kane thinks about Jupiter. Fortunately, the Captain Diamica and her team saved the guy. Jupiter told Titus that she cannot marry someone who is the biological son of her genetic copy. The Lord advised her to take it as a contract. According to him, this marriage is the only way to protect the Earth. Jupiter wants to talk to Kane, but Titus said that he attacked a servant and was arrested. For the sake of humanity and Kane, Jupiter accepted Titus's proposal and agreed to become his wife. Diamica and Kane freed Stinger. Kane asked his friend why he did it. Stinger confessed that his daughter, who is an android, had a bug, and he did not have enough money for re-encoding. Kane forgave his friend because he would have done the same. The day of Jupiter and Titus's wedding has come. She has no idea that at this time, Kane and Stinger are preparing to rescue her. Titus ordered not to let the rebels near the planet. A fierce battle broke out in orbit. Titus recited the wedding vow, and placing his hand on a special device, received a wedding mark. Now it's Jupiter's turn to do the same. While Kane piloted his ship trying to break through the defense, Jupiter recited the wedding vow, then placed her hand on the device, but changed her mind at the last moment, hearing strange sounds. Titus grabbed Jupiter's hand, but suddenly Kane burst into the ceremony hall and aimed a blaster at the Lord. Jupiter realized that Titus had deceived her. In fact, he planned to get rid of her immediately after the wedding. Jupiter asked Kane to take her away from here. She couldn't come to her senses for a long time after what happened. Kane entered her cabin. Jupiter had given him the pardon she had received from Titus. Now Kane and Stinger were officially back in the Legion. All Jupiter wants now is to get home as soon as possible. However, when they arrived home, Balaam's messengers were waiting for them, demanding that Jupiter renounce her title, otherwise her family would suffer. Jupiter knows that if she does this, she will be completely defenseless, but she has no choice. Jupiter went to the planet named after her. She finally met with Balaam, who is willing to do anything to make his business prosper. According to him, human beings on Earth are merely resource that will bring in enormous profits. Jupiter asked Balaam if he was responsible for the death of his mother, who wanted to put an end to this business. For this, Jupiter received a slap. Kane is determined to save his beloved at all costs. Meanwhile, Balaam demands that Jupiter hand over her title to the rightful heir right now. Jupiter was horrified to see her unconscious mother. The girl is ready to fulfill any demand of Balaam, as long as he releases her family. Diamica wished Kane luck before he entered Jupiter's atmosphere on his ship. The landing was very hard. Jupiter asked Balaam when the harvest on Earth would take place. He lied that it would not happen soon, but Jupiter did not believe him and refused to renounce her title. She cannot allow humanity to perish. Without the title, Balaam has no right to do this. At that moment Kane arrived and saved his beloved. They kissed, after which Kane told her to escape. Jupiter rushed to save her family, dodging shots. Diamica and her fleet broke through the planet's defenses. While Kane fights his enemies, Jupiter escapes. The reprocessing plant is about to collapse. At some point, Balaam blocked Jupiter's path, intending to finish what he started. According to the Lord, they fought before, even before her reincarnation. Jupiter managed to fend off Lord, and as a result he fell from a great height along with the structure. Jupiter was rescued by Kane, who assured that her family was safe. Jupiter's family was safely returned home, and their memories were wiped, so they don't remember anything that happened. It seems that Jupiter has also returned to her normal life. No one knows her secret. On that day, the family gave her a telescope that she had always dreamed of. Thanks to her title, Jupiter became the owner of Earth. Now she is dating Kane, who by the way was reinstated in the Legion rank and had his wings returned. In the final scene, we see the couple flying over Chicago.